Welcome everybody to another draft with Robot Rallis. Today we're doing Dominaria United Best of 1 draft, and we're almost at our table. I'll give it a pause till we get there. If you enjoy content like this, please feel free to give it a like, a subscription, possibly leave a comment. And what do we have for our rare? A very good card. Guardian of Dominaria is quite strong. I definitely think it's the strongest card in the pack. Single color, very difficult to interact with. Very nice. We had some other good white stuff inside of that pack. We had Artillery Blast and Argivian Phalanx. Oh, here we are. We're back. Knight of Dusk's Shadow is quite strong. There's also an Extinguish the Light, and I've been pretty happy with this card. It's a little expensive, but I think 4 is just low enough to still be really good. Knight is very solid. If we're going to take a black card, we're just going to take the removal though. Nothing white in this pack besides Stall for Time. Unfortunate that we're passing on this many good black cards, because we would play all 3 of these in a low to the ground white-black deck. We'll see how things shape up. Who do we have at the table with us? I think I've played against Mega Bees before. Alrighty. Come on. Packs are starting to pile up. There we go. Argivian Cavalier is very nice, but I think Phyrexian Rager is a more important 3 for that deck. Cavalier is very good, but we'll just take this. Guarantees us to get the card back, and this will trade for a lot of things in the format. It turns out, on average, most of the 2s and 3s are going to have 2 toughness. So this is a very strong card in the format right now. Another Rager. Monstrous Warleech I've not been really impressed with. I think it's more of a 5-color domain card, if anything. Charismatic Vanguard is good, but it's more of a red-white or a blue-white style. We'll just take a Rager. A good 2, pair of good 3s, a removal spell. We're on target. Look, there are situations where Rager's bad, but I haven't been in more than like one of them. Ooh, Micromancer, Gibbering Barricade, Shadow Prophecy, and a couple of lands. This is actually a pretty tough pick. Also a Writhing Necromass. Honestly, I wish I could just take the whole pack here, move on to pack 2. Because we'd probably end up playing all of these, and possibly like this, and maybe one of these lands. If we end up in the Defender deck, the Gibbering Barricade will obviously be good. I think we're supposed to take a Shadow Prophecy though. Artillery Blast comes... Oh, that's not the same one. That's a different one. I think it's good enough to play. Eerie Soul Tender is very nice, but we already have a pair of 3s. Well, 3 of them actually, so... We'll just take the removal spell. It's a bit marginal in the aggressive decks, but that's okay. Well, this is interesting. I wouldn't expect to see the Rootwalla or the Illusionist or a Najal this late. It does seem like we've been getting nothing but solid cards. I think we're going to take the Najal. No, I think we're going to take the Rootwalla. There's a chance that we're inside of black-green and we just don't know it yet. Alright, well I'm going to give it a pause because we're going to take a while to get this next pack. Alright, we have a Shadow Prophecy, Jodas Codex Haunting Figment, and a Tura. Unfortunately it's double blue, which is pretty difficult to deal with. Vanquisher's Axe with the Phyrexian Rager plan might not be the worst. I think we're supposed to take the Tura. Try and find a way to make it work if we can. Alright, so now there's another Artillery Blast. There's also a Clockwork Drawbridge. Also a Tail Swipe. I think we're taking the Tail Swipe. Both of these green cards coming back is very interesting. Toxic A-Bomb I think is better than the rest of these cards, so we'll take it. Llanowar Stalker is pretty awful. Pixie Illusionist is the best card in the pack. Very interesting to see a Tail Swipe go around that late. Smells like green's a little bit open, but I don't know if enough open. Either way, we didn't see a lot of white stuff, so we might just be letting go of these. I mean, the black cards are all fine. Some serious life being lost there. Idyllic Beachfront's good. Interesting. I don't think we're in Domain. Oh wow, look at this. Look at this. Take the Root Walla. 2 Root Wallas and a Tail Swipe this late in a pack. Well, I'm not very impressed with this card. So if we are in green, there's Territorial Morrow and Sojourner. Honestly, I think that the Sojourner is just worse than the Morrow. Bog Badger's fine. Take Up the Shield's the best white card in the pack. For us anyway. Lore Master's not good. I think we're just going to take the Morrow. Cruelty of Gix? Well, that's an on-color rare. I'd like to get back a Sunlit Marsh or possibly the Magnagal Sentry. I'm not taking any of these white cards. I'm pretty sure we're in black-green. A little unfortunate that we got rid of or passed up on that fixing land earlier, but I think it was the right choice in context. So we have a Territorial Morrow, 2 Root Wallas. Let's see. A Wooded Ridgeline or Flowstone Infusion or Writhing Necromass. I think Necromass is the kind of card we're more likely to play in this deck. I don't really think it's the Shoulder's Restoration. I don't really want to take any of the blue cards either. So black-green aggro is a little bit different than the other forms of aggro. There's a Haunted Mire and another Tail Swipe. So the problem is, we already have 1 Tail Swipe, and we do need the mana fixing. I think I'm supposed to take it. 1 Tail Swipe came back, we'll see if this one does too. If it doesn't, I think I still just want the mana fixing. We already have 2 double black cards, and we definitely want to be casting this on curve. It's a busted ass card. Alright, Warleech, still not really what I'm looking for. There's also a Battle Rage Blessing and an Urborg Repossession. I don't think the Battle Rage Blessing is necessary. Our creatures are doing the work for us and we don't mind trading them off. Urborg Repossession is one of the ways we win the game very easy, just by getting back value creatures like the Root Wallas and Ragers. Now notably, this deck is using its life total, and we don't have the best stuff at 2. We have some stuff at 2. 2 Root Wallas and a Toxic A-Bomb. But we do need more 2s. Like a Vivisector would be nice here. There's a Sunlit Marsh and a Writhing Necromass number 2. I mean, we are pretty high on creatures right now. There's a chance the Necromass is good enough. Instead of a Sunlit Marsh, I'll take it. Alright, Bog Badger. No, we're just going to take a Splatter Goblin. Been pretty impressed with Splatter Goblin as a card. Attacks into 3 toughness creatures pretty well. Deals with 1 toughness creatures quite well as well. Yeah, we definitely did switch at about the right time. I think any later and we might have missed out on some pretty good playables. The Tail Swipe being there was very interesting. That's what like really tips me off. which is unfortunate because I really wanted to play this card. I don't think we passed up on anything insane to take it. Well, to be honest, I don't really like any of these cards, but the one that has the highest chance of making the deck would be Shoulder's Restoration. It's going in the board for now because we don't have any way to cast it. Because I'm not casting it for the front side. It's just bad. Another one comes back, but there's also a Bog Badger. This card's actually quite strong. You just need to have the creatures in play to make it work. Also a Lore Master, but we're not going to rare draft. We're just going to take the on-color card. It may not look like the Bog Badger is very good, but I promise you it does tend to overperform if you have an aggressive curve. Alright, there's a Sunlit Marsh and a Salvaged Mana Worker. I think we're just going to take a Sunlit Marsh. Now there's a bunch of nonsense. We're just going to take the Plaza for rare value. Broken Wings. We're not playing this other stuff. I don't think there's a chance that we main it. Ooh, Battle Rage Blessing's a fine combat trick. Guarantees you to win combat if it resolves, pretty much. Alright. Wow. One of the best rares in the set. It'll be the first time I'll get to play with it, but this card is an absolute beating. If your opponent doesn't kill it immediately, you're probably just going to win the game. You don't need a lot to make this card good. It just does a lot of work on its own. Gives you creatures, messes with your opponent's game plan. Just good stuff. Wow. Now we have an Extinguish the Light, a Phyrexian Rager, a Cut Down, and a Cult Conscript, all of which would be absolutely incredible inside of this deck. I think we're supposed to take a Cut Down or an Extinguish, and I'm leaning towards Cut Down. It'd be nice if one of these three cards or possibly the Bog come back, but I'm not going to count my chickens before they hatch. We'll just take this. Phyrexian Warhorse is nice, and we already have at least one way to make it splashy. Actually cast it. How are we looking at 4? We have 2 cards. Oh, there's also Quirion Beastcaller. Whoopsie. Yeah, I guess I'll take the on-color rare. The on-color rare 2-drop to go in my deck with Namada and Cruelty of Gix. You know, it's not often that I see a deck that I think has the possibility of getting 7 wins very easily, but I think this one does get there. Like, all of my cards are quite strong. At this point, the Morrow might not be doing it. There's another Ravaz. Interesting. I don't think I want a second Urborg Repossession. We just need more beef, and Toxic A-Bomb is beef. Gibbering Barricade, Haunted Mire, Phyrexian Vivisector. What do we have in the sideboard? Not a lot. However, we're not going to be casting our spells if we don't have the Haunted Mire. All we're missing is a 2. We already have the Splatter Goblin, 2 Toxic A-Bombs, 1 of those, 2 of those. Yeah, I'll just take a Fixing Land. We do need to get some more playables out of this pack. Only about 4 more, though. Notably, we did not get back the Tail Swipe that we passed in the second pack. I didn't expect to, but it still sucks. Pretty cool to see this come around, though. Very, very strong card. Bortuk. Yeah, I mean, we'll play it. This card tends to play almost like a rare. It is a little bit expensive, but once you get it out, it tends to overperform. Bone Splinters? Yeah, we'll take it. We do have 2 Ragers after all. We have an okay amount of card advantage. Removal is what we're a little bit short on. We have one tail swipe, cut down, bone splinters, as well as extinguish the light. A little low. We could go for another pair of removal spells or so. Alright, looks like an Eerie Soul Tender or a Snare Spinner. How are we looking at 3? Not too filled up. We'll take it. Some graveyard action and recursion. More card advantage, that's good. Spirit Cleric. Interesting. Oof. Well, Oketra's attendant, you should probably be attending to your draft picks if you ask me. Iconoclast is it's a 2 we'll play. I mean, it's better than A-Bomb. Yeah, sure. Why not? Cult Conscript and the Geothermal Bog both come back. Well, we're more likely to be playing the Cult Conscript, if you ask me, than the Geothermal Bog. Deathbloom Gardener or one of these cards we're not playing. We're not really playing any of these cards, are we? So we'll just take one of these out of circulation? Yeah, I guess whatever, I don't care. Not playing these cards. Vivisector, wow. It's a nice one to show back up this late. Okay, so we got a pretty good deck here. A little low on removal, but we have some card draw. A lot of beef on the low end. We're not really hurting for things to do. Question is, are we playing the Sunlit Marsh? And if we are playing the Sunlit Marsh, are we doing anything with it? I mean, it makes the Bortuk better, and it makes the Root Wallas better. I think it also has a Shadow Prophecy as well. I think that's enough. I don't think I need anything extra. That's enough reasons for me to play it. I don't think we're playing the Restoration. I don't think that card's very good. Alright, let's switch our view. We have a 6, a 5, and a pair of 4s. Is there a world where we're going to play 16 lands? I guess. I mean, we have 2 Phyrexian Ragers, a Shadow Prophecy. Yeah, I think it's okay. Go down 1 swamp because this is a black source. 6, 7, 8, 9. 7, 8, 9. Play a 9/9 mana base, 16 lands. You know me, I'm always looking for excuses to play fewer lands. Because we don't really have any way to, well, actually, we do have ways to use our mana in the late game, that's for sure. So maybe we go up. And then we just cut an additional card here. So at 2 we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 2s. We can cut a Toxic A-Bomb, go down to 7 2s. I don't think we can cut any more creatures though. Yeah, 16. I need to cut a non-creature here. What is the worst non-creature spell? I mean, honestly, all of these are great. Like, Battle Rage Blessing is nice with all of my expendables, like Cult Conscript and Phyrexian Rager and stuff. Because I don't really get 2 for 1 if somebody kills it. It's just a basic 1 for 1 with my Battle Rage Blessing. Yeah, I don't really want to cut any of these cards. I think with the card draw that we have, we're going to be using our mana every turn, but we're also going to have a higher than average spell density. So we're going to try and run it like this and see if we can make it work. It looks like a pretty solid deck. Iconoclast is a little weird in here, but I mean, if we're going to play Toxic A-Bomb, we're going to play Iconoclast to replace it, you know? We'd rather not lose 2 life and have Trample than not do that. By the way, this is what I mean when I say stuff like the domain deck is just competing for resources with too many other decks. Like, we're going to play the Bortuk even though the max we're ever going to have is 3. Because, I mean, look at our creatures. Most of them are 3 or less. like Namada. If we want that, we'll just get it back by choosing it and then casting it later. We don't have to get it back straight to the battlefield. You can play this in any deck that can play black and or green. Same thing with the Root Wallas. The max it's ever going to get for us is +3/+3. That's just enough. Like, it's still a fine 2 that beats down early and has value in the late game, and that's plenty enough. Alright. Plus the fixing lands. Like, we were just taking fixing lands on the off chance that we end up in one of those colors, and the domain decks want to do that too. Alright, well, we have good mana, we have some stuff to do. We'll keep it. I think turn 2 we're going to pump out the Yavimaya Iconoclast. Interesting. If they have anything to say about it, I'm fine with that. They don't? Okay. I'd like to draw an untapped land. That's pretty cool. What are we doing though? Well, we're gonna attack first and foremost. They're pondering the block. If they block, that's fine with me. Sure. Trades resolve themselves in my favor, if you ask me. We'll play out this, and we'll play out the Toxic A-Bomb. Looking pretty aggressive here. Oh, well that's not good for them. They're facing a lot of aggression now. Because now we can play out the Namada. So next turn we have a Tail Swipe and more backup. Sphinx of Clear Skies, huh? Okay, well... certainly not the best thing for us to see, is it? Five with flying and ward 2. We can make our creature into a 4/4. We can play a Sunbathing Root Walla and hold up Cut Down and Tail Swipe. Are we going to attack with Toxic A-Bomb and Cult Conscript and see if my opponent decides that blocking is worth it? Okay, they're just going to take another 5. That's a-okay with me, because now we'll play out the Root Walla, keep up my other cards, and pass turn. I mean, they can hit me for 5 if they want to. Bottom line is, like... okay, well they have 4 basic land types here. That's fine. Alright, so... we're going to cut this down, or attempt to. Alright, now we have the Tail Swipe available. So what we're going to do is play this, sacrifice a Saproling to give it +2/+2 until end of turn. Alright, well that definitely is good for me. Oh no! Anyway, beats for 8. Go ahead, Oppo. Yep, good game. Well, they had that card, we had our card, and our card won. Was that a mythic? Oh, it's gone, it's just exiled, whoops. Yep, that is a pretty strong card. 5/5 flyer that draws cards and has protection. But Namada's better. I had a feeling that they had the lightning strike in hand, but unfortunately for them, it does not actually blow out a 3/4. Okay. Give it a pause till we reach our next opponent. Alright, we got there. And we're playing against somebody pretty high up there. We have good mana, so we're going to keep it. A little unfortunate that we don't have like the 3rd or 4th land, but I have to imagine we'll get there eventually, right? Walking Bulwark. Well, that's certainly interesting. There's a 3rd land. We have a cut down. I can't imagine they're just going to activate here. Are they? Interesting. Well, sure. Okay, well the chump check does not work out. We'll just try Toxic A-Bomb. It does resolve. We'll take some damage. Now we have a cut down, and we have a tail swipe. I don't really feel like the Walking Bulwark is an especially big problem. Oh, that's a problem. Well now we have to do something. And I think the thing we're going to do is tail swipe. Okay, well that's one thing out of the way. We'll go to combat. Attack both. Sure. Fine by me. We'll pass and see if they want to do anything else to the Academy wall. Well, I guess we should have killed it. Interesting, geothermal bog. I don't think we kill it now. Well, that's a little unfortunate. I guess we kind of have to kill it now, don't we? Missing on the land's bad, so we need to start killing our opponent as fast as possible. If we draw an untapped land, we can do Extinguish the Light. If they play something that can block here. Shield Wall Sentinel, that's fine with me. What are they going to get, a Blight Pile? Coral Colony, well that's not really going to do it, is it? But we also miss on land again. Not very good. Missing on lands is, well, obviously one way to lose the game. 12 cards deep with only 3 lands. That is, well, way below rate. Soaring Drake is fine. Coral Colony is also fine. Like, if the best card they're going to get is, like, those things, then I don't feel bad about what we're doing. I think we just have to play out the Namada and see if we can have it survive. We can always buy it back with a Bortuk anyway. We should have attacked with a Toxic A-Bomb. Talarian Geyser, sure. They don't even attack, that's interesting. Well, we're just going to cast a Cruelty of Gix now. Yep, submit. We're at a healthy enough life total. They're at 9. What you got? Oh, well, don't mind if I do. I'll just take that Wingmantle Chaplain. 2 removal spells and an Argivian Cavalier. Yep, you know what has to happen. You gotta spend all your mana on that thing. Single block? You know you want to do more than that. They don't. Sure. Ooh, thanks. Value. They can take their whole turn off to try and do that plan. They'll go to 16, and then 13. But we have good stuff to go get. Cavalier's fine with me. Ooh, that's a good one. Alright, what do we got? Phyrexian Rager. We also have this stuff over here. What else do we have? Bone Splinters? Bone Splinters is solid. Can kill a coral colony. Yeah, I think we do that. We'll take a Bone Splinters. Play out the Namada. And we'll Bone Splinters away the coral colony, I suppose. Not really afraid of anything else. No attacks, pass turn. Now they're kind of under the gun. They either can spend mana on something, or they can not. Because they kind of have to use their Eerie Soul Tender to get back the Wingmantle Chaplain, or I get it. Well, we're just going to kill that, so... Yeah, sure, they can do this. I'll just trade for the A-Bomb. They can't. You can't enlist that. Has to be a creature without summoning sickness. We'll block here. Be pretty happy about it. Get back a Wingmantle Chaplain on their turn. They get a 1/1. Bink. Alright, we have some stuff to do, but I think we have to start with this, don't we? Sure do. Yep, I'll take that back, thank you. They can remove it if they like, but... They will. They only have 2 mana left though, so they do not have infinity things to do. So we can't block this turn, but next turn we have up the Battle Rage Blessing on the bird. We're only at 12 here, so I don't feel too bad about what's going on. So we're going to cast the Quirion Beastcaller. Yeah. Nope, nothing there. If my opponent just goes for the attack, we have the kill. They can also try to get back the Vodalian Mindsinger. Sure. Well, block there. Attempt to give a death touch. And indestructible. We succeed. Oh, haha, I see. Yeah, isn't going to be the first or the last time that we're going to accidentally misplay into Tellurian Geyser. Now I think we're just going to take a Bortuk for 2, or a Necromass for 5. Yeah, we'll do this. If they'd like to block both, that's fine with me. Okay, so what a block both does is it both kills our Shield Wall Sentinel and gives me an additional counter on my bird. Now the bird is better against their birds. And we can also return the Cult Conscript. So while they do get back their Wingmantle Chaplain, it's only for 1. Wow, this double white card really burning a hole in their pocket, isn't it? Ouch. Argivian Cavalier is not really a card I'm threatened by, especially with a Cult Conscript in play. That's pretty nice. So I think we're going to start with attack with the bird and the Necromass. See what my opponent has to say about it. Oh no! They exiled it? No, they put it on the bottom of my library. Alright, well now what? I think we're just going to cast this, see what we draw. That's a pretty good one. We'll play it out. Now we can block with a Rager or a Cult Conscript. I'm inclined to block with a Conscript if they decide to attack with a Cavalier. They have another Cavalier. Plus, how many does that make? 3? Jeez, okay. Ooh, there's a Sunlit Marsh, that's nice. What do we have in the graveyard here? Beast Caller, Eerie Soul Tender. That's it, okay. And we know the cards in their hand as well. Alright. They can, however, do their own thing this turn. So we're going to start with an attack. Here, and here, and here. Sure. Fine by me. Okay, they take some damage. We play this out, and we play this out. Now we're just going to get back a Phyrexian Rager and draw another card. Oppo's in some trouble, they're facing down some aggression. Yeah, they can have a Mindsinger, that's fine with me. They can have a Rager, or a Bird, I guess. What else do we have that positively interacts with Bird? Not much, to be honest. Or the Mindsinger, rather. Shadow Prophecy's nice. Yeah, I think we'll cast it here. Iconoclast and a Forest is not the best, but it'll do. Let's go to combat. We'll attack here, and here as well, I believe. No, we'll stay that with that. Okay, so they will block with all the marbles. Okay. Play out the Iconoclast. Play it for no value, or do we play it for some value? This turn we're going to take 4, 5, 6 potentially. Yeah, I'll play out the Iconoclast, I guess. A little unfortunate that things have unfolded the way that they have. Our opponent's gotten a shitload of play out of their cards here, just constantly getting things back. If they want to peck in for 2, that's fine. There's a Chaplain, they get 1 more bird. Ooh, there's a second white source, that's not very good for me. We draw a land. Yeah, we're about the same on lands here, we're just not using ours as good as they're using theirs. Yeah, we'll attack with this. And yeah, that's all. Sure. Alright, now we are going to play out the Splatter Goblin. We'll do this first. Get back the Bog Badger. Play this out. And then next turn try to utilize our spells. I think they need to let that go now. For what, I couldn't tell you, but they need to do it. Okay, well they're thinking about what to use it on. They have 4 time. Yikes. It's 1,000,000 minutes to think about this. Seems like they might have a white card they want to play. So they have to choose between doing that and doing something else. Or maybe they're deciding which attacks are most beneficial. Timeout number 1 used. Timeout number 2 used. Okay, well I'm just going to pause it till my opponent decides to do something. Alright, they're just going to attack with both the birds. And then second main phase, do we have anything? This is their own Vortic. Urborg Repossession, get back a Coral Colony. Play the Coral Colony, or Academy Wall rather. Get another bird. Play the removal spell. Get rid of the Vortic. Okay, well we have our work cut out for us. Phyrexian Vivisector does not do it. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blockers, 2 creatures get in, and it's not 11 damage. Well, that took a long time for them to do a thing that was pretty obvious, but can't really get mad at my opponent for playing very slow. Maybe they don't really understand how the cards work or something. Alright, let's keep it going, try to push the aggression towards the next deck. Alright, well, it's not ideal. We're missing out on a color, but we have a good one and we have a good two. Okay, come on. There we go. Pretty good. Alright, nice. Go to attacks. Play out the Vivisector, pass turn. See what my opponent has in store for me. I'd like to draw a green land here. That'd be nice. Interesting. Not really afraid of the Crystal Grotto. Interesting. My opponent doing nothing is good for me, but me not drawing a land is pretty awful. They're at 14, but now they get to play a land and presumably start casting spells. Meanwhile, we are struggling to play a Shadow Prophecy with one basic land type. Okay, well, we have a Splatter Goblin. Good for the opponent, I guess. Forest to the top, I suppose. It is a land. A 2/3. Well, I can't really get through that, can I? I can attack with my goblin, though. They'll let it go, and then we'll cast a Yavimaya Iconoclast. Or are we supposed to cast a Shadow Prophecy? We can cast a Shadow Prophecy next turn. I think we need to establish the board a bit more. Wow. 4 colors with the Crystal Grotto deck. Okay. Alright, now we're going to just... pass turn and get a Shadow Prophecy in. Can't believe that thing has vigilance, jeez. Always forget about that. Yeah. Okay, well, we'll take a Necromass and a land. We'll do this. I think it's the best chance of us getting through. Okay, well, we're waiting. Yep, we'll submit on 1. Shivan Devastator? Jesus, okay. Well, guess I'm glad to get that out of their hand, but they also have 2 removal spells, so kind of fucked no matter what I do, aren't I? Are they gonna just get rid of it? I would love if they did that. Nope, they think it's perfectly fine for me to lose 3 life. Yeah, I would too. But we're going to triple block because we need to get those cards out of their hand. They have 2 cards to blow us out. A 2 for 3. Come on. Today. Great. Even better. Indestructible until end of turn. Yikes. Well, and we still take damage. That's the fun part. Whatever. Doesn't matter. They didn't even attack with a bird, which is pretty funny. Alright, well... I have 2 removal spells. So we're just going to get Extinguish the Light. And we're going to extinguish that light. we need a way to interact favorably. Oh, cool. A 4/4. That's fun. Great. Okay. Well, I mean, sometimes your opponent just has it all. We'll get back a Elf Hamworm, I guess. Yeah, we'll get back an Elf Hamworm. They want to do something about it, that's okay. I think we're supposed to start with Cut Down. Kind of need this thing to die. What do you mean, pass? Oh, that is their creature, so it doesn't actually get bigger based on what I do. Yeah, I guess we'll just bring this back to play. Ain't much else to be done. Now we're at 1 life against this deck. Oh, sure. If they're gonna give me a chance to block, I am going to take it. One of the ways that we win this game is, just having things to do. We'll cast a Rager. A little disappointing, to say the least. We'll gain some life here. We're not out of this, we just need to start doing things. Alright, well that does clean up the conscript pretty well. And we should be blocking here. We already got our card out of it, so that's not a big deal. If we play out the Bortuk, we get a card as well as a Rager back. But I think we're supposed to just play out the Beast Caller and a Necromass. Another Prayer of Binding. Understandable, I suppose. Alright, well, we're dead to a combat trick, and I think we'll win if we untap, so we'll block. Jesus. Samite Herbalist is not really a card I'm afraid of. Alright, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. Unfortunately not quite enough to do what I'd like to do. So we'll just cast a Bortuk. Get back a Phyrexian Rager. See if we can claw our way back into this one. Alright, well, we're gonna block because we kind of have to. They scry to the top, that's not very good for me. What you got? Just trades, okay. Another Argavian Phalanx. Understandable, I suppose. Well, at this point we're just gonna play out the Rootwalla. And the Necromass. And the Bog Badger. Nice cards, buddy. What you got? Another Samite Herbalist. Okay, well. Play this out. Go to 4, I guess. They can attack and get in some damage if they want to. We will block. Three on the Herbalist, Rager on the Phalanx. They do nothing. Okay. Well, now I think we're just going to attack with the Writhing Necromass. We've run out of things to do. They go to 6. Okay. We're gonna just play out the Haunted Mire and pass turn. Alright, 2 cards for them. Banalish Faithbonder's fine. They still don't have good blocks though, so... Bone Splinters. Gets rid of the Phalanx, but I think we have to save it for a flyer. Attack here. Okay. Well, Abyss Them is good, but this feels like a combat trick. It wasn't. That was weird. Yeah, we'll just let it go. Yeah. Can't do much about that, so I won't. Magnagoth Sentry's fine with me. We're just in a top deck war. They don't have to block the Root Walla, and they have good attacks on the backswing, so we can't really attack them here. Namada? Okay. Well, now we have great plans. We're going to just get the Magnagoth Sentry out of the way, or the Argivian Phalanx. Get the Argivian Phalanx, sack the Rager. Alright, that's good. And now we're going to just pass. Well, I think we're supposed to attack. We will activate. Alrighty, they lose another creature, we get another blocker. Play out a forest so we can sacrifice for value if we need to. They concede the game. Well, that was closer than I would have liked. We did have to spend a lot of cards on getting rid of the first Phalanx, just to get delivered to by the second one for a little while. But, you know, you win games however you can. Alright, we're already in game. Lucky us. Alrighty, we have only one color of mana. So the problem with this hand is that we also go first, and we have a Beast Caller and an Iconoclast. I think we're going to keep it off the back of those two. If we draw the black mana, we're in really good shape. If we don't, well, I mean, going to 6 will kill us just as quick. This is a good color combination for me to see. Red land Lightning Strike would not be very good for me to see. Banalish Sleeper is similarly not very good for me to see, but we do draw the black mana and we do get the Iconoclast this turn, so we will play that out. And not attack because we plan on casting a Rager next turn. Snare Spinner is fine with me. Ooh, and we even get to keep up the cut down. That's pretty great news. Alright, now we're going to attack with this and this, or just this rather. They are not going to do any blocking, so we'll just pass here. card's extremely strong. Like, the card's so strong, that's why I decided to keep the hand. Artillery Blast. Well, that's not very good for me. Can't do anything about it, so I won't. However, we will put a counter on each of these. Unfortunately for you, opponent, that is not going to work out the way you'd like it to. We get the 2-for-1 on the bite down. Then we're going to play out, well, I guess nothing here. We can't play out anything. They're going to chump block and still take damage. Fair enough, I suppose. What is this, a board wipe or something? What's going on? Shalai's Acolyte. Well, that's definitely a strong card, but I would hesitate to call it the best in this situation. They would like to block, and I'm happy with that. Because now we can cast either the Bortuk or that, and if we play the Bortuk, we can get back the Beast Caller, and I think I'm on board. You thought it was over, but no, that was just round 1. Get ready for more. Oh no. I'm just gonna give them the most ridiculous uncastable bullshit that they have. They don't have any blue. Oh, sure. Do they have black or red? They have black. We'll shuffle this in, and we'll shuffle this in. You could have those other two things. They don't actually bother me. Yeah, you can have that. That's fine. It doesn't do much of anything. Yeah, Sunbathing Root Wallet does not even block this turn, so you are in some trouble, my friend. Uh-oh, stinky. Uh-oh, stinky. Uh-oh, stinky. Uh-oh, stinky. Would you like to take 10 damage, or would you like to chump block? Understandable. Have a nice day. And they just randomly draw the Sarah Paragon right off the top? How compelling. Now face the wall. Well, it doesn't have lifelink, my friend, so you are dead. Pretty cool. They had some pretty strong cards in their hand and in their deck, but, you know, as a wise person once said, your cards aren't worth a thing if you don't cast them. Alright, let's just bring it to the next game. Well, this hand is a little bit rough. We do have the 3 basic land types, and we do have a removal spell, but this hand is very prone to just drawing too many lands. I think we kind of have to keep it, though. That's a good one. That can get us back in the game. What do they have? A 2? Sure. Vine Wall's not really a 2 I'm worried about. Okay, interesting. That's a good one. We just play out our own 2. Ours looks better than theirs. If they'd like to kill it, that's fine with me. Mana Worker, that's fine. Alright, well, it does look like we're up against some kind of 5-color monstrosity here. So we'll just go ahead and play out the Phyrexian Rager. Start working our card advantage train a bit. And we have fodder for the Bone Splinters. Something to do next turn. A lot of value on the table. Llanowar Green Widow's a very good card, but unfortunately for my opponent, it's not really ideal here. It's probably just going to end up trading for my Splattered Goblin, if I had to guess. They'll get in some damage off of it, that's fine though. No attacks, pass turn. Wow, turn 4, four actual basics in play. 4 different basics. Ooh, they did not complete the Wombo combo. Yeah, we'll block, sure. Oh no, we took damage. We'll bink this out of the sky, or off the ground rather. And if they'd like to pay the mana to get it back, that's fine with me. Another mana worker. Yeah, those are fine cards and all, but we have bigger and better plans. They can't even do that right now, so we're just going to cast a Cruelty of Gix. What you got, Oppo? Yeah, we'll start on chapter 1. Ooh, Maria's Outrider. That's a nice card. We also have a Silver Scrutiny? Jeez. Okay, well, those are certainly good cards, but +1/+1 until end of turn, so +4/+4. Alright, well, that's okay. Now we can go get a card, and I think the card we're going to go get is probably the Namata. Then I think we're supposed to play it. And I think we're supposed to just pass here. Get back a Splatter Goblin on my turn. No attacks. Do what you gotta do, Oppo. Get back your thing. They don't have a second blue for the Silver Scrutiny, but I'm sure they will eventually. Well, no, they have the Mana Worker. Fair enough. Okay, so we're gonna block with a Phyrexian Rager and a Sunbathing Rootwalla, and we don't actually mind that they're going to get some value here. That'll give them +4/+4, bring it up to 7. Now we're fine. So it does look like we're going really bad on this, but you have to remember, we're going to take 4 damage, and it's a 1-for-1. Because they're only really getting the Rootwalla as a card. Now, the life total is definitely bad for me, don't get me wrong, but we still have a lot of stuff here. Are they going to cast this now? For 3? Oh no, looks like they might have a Rabid Bite or something? Or a Bite Down, rather. They do need to use it now. Okay. We'll choose my graveyard and we'll get back a Rager. I want the extra card. I'm not really too concerned about my life total. They're not really doing a lot to pressure me here. I think we're supposed to just use the Extinguish the Light. Then I don't think we're going to attack. We're just going to pass. They can draw some cards here. Sure, draw 3. Pretty good. But the net effect is basically that of a kicked Espionage. There's a second blue and some green. And a Raff. Okay. So now we have to worry about the Raff. And a Sojourner? Certainly some stuff to think about. Well, I think we're going to start with the Bone Splinters. We're going to target the Raff, sacrifice the Rager. Okay, then we're going to cast a Necromancer. And we're going to pass the turn. I don't think we can attack just yet. Well, that's certainly a strong card. We will sacrifice this. They will get our Sunbathing Rootwalla. Sure. They would like a 1/3 defender. Not really too concerned with that one. Ooh, that's an incredible card to get here. We have 21 cards in deck to their 21 cards. What do we have in the grave? A Rager, a Splatter Goblin, and a Sunbathing Rootwalla, huh? Well, I think we're supposed to get back. Maybe we're supposed to wait. Maybe we're supposed to just play this in the Bog Badger. Mill 2 lands and a Toxic A-Bomb. Fine by me. Then we'll just play out a Bog Badger Nino. And pass turn again. We don't have any combat tricks here, so we're at 10. 10's healthy enough. Magnagoth Sentry is fine. Shadow Prophecy is a bit expensive for the life total, but I think it's okay. We'll take these two, because they're both fine cards. A little choked on black mana, sadly. But that's alright, we'll just pass here. We're also kind of out of removal, so we need to find a way to kill our opponent, and relatively quick. Because eventually whatever stupid busted rare they have is going to deliver to me. That's not one of them. Cast a Vivisector. Or we can just keep up the Cut Down and Battle Rage Blessing. I think we're supposed to do that. We'll just go ahead and let this go. We can cast a Cut Down in response to the Rhoda's Firebrand doing what it does, if they'd like to kick it. Joint Exploration. That's a good card, but not really afraid of it. Just a bad impulse. 2 to the bottom and draw a card. Okay, so they do have a land to put into play, and they do choose to do it. Okay. They want to get us dead, so they're incentivized to use that this turn. They can't attack with a Vine Wall. Well, that's not really what I was looking for. What is it? We still have the Sunbathing Rootwalla, the Phyrexian Rager, and the Bones, the Splatter Goblin in my graveyard. We actually have 2 Rootwallas in there. Rootwallas are good. Are we supposed to just let it rip, though? I don't know. It's a tough call. I think we're going to. Let's see what my opponent has here. They're just going to take a bunch of damage. That's fine with me. We're going to play and kick this. Can I please have 2 valuable creatures back? Thank you. I would love those. Alright, we'll just pass turn here. Hold up the cut down and the Battle Rage Blessing. The value on this Namada is difficult to overstate. Just so much value in this thing. Every trade is great for me and awful for them. Sure. We'll try it. We don't really have a reason to use any of our spells here. We're winning on board. Only 11 cards in deck, sadly. Okay. So I think we're going to go to combat with the Namada. Pretty difficult to envision a scenario where that goes bad for me. If we attack all, how does this look for my opponent? Pretty bad. So we will. So they kind of have to block the Root Walla, and they kind of have to block the Namada. But if they do that, they're just dead on board. So... well, they're not dead on board, but they're in a pretty awful spot. Especially since we have the Battle Rage Blessing. So they're in a really fucked situation no matter what happens. For them anyway. I feel great. They okay with me if they do that. Okay. I mean, this leaves them dead if they don't have something that kills my Namada. Okay, so they are going to do that. Yeah, I think I'm fine with this. What you got? Rager? Beast Caller. End turn. So we did draw all of our rares, but in my defense we also Artillery Blast. You know, at this point, I don't think it matters too much, but I am going to save it anyway. Okay, well that's enough for the opponent. They've seen enough and they're dead. Very long game, much longer than I would have liked, but we did get the W, so whatever. Alright, we're at 4-1. Let's see if we can pump up the jams just a little bit more. Just 3 more wins is all I ask. Well, this is a very good hand. Our opponent goes first. So I don't really want to lead with the Beast Caller, but I'm going to. Because the potential upside if it lives is just so insane. Knight of Dusk's Shadow. Well, it doesn't bode well for my Beast Caller. So maybe we're supposed to just play out the Splatter Goblin? Yeah, we'll do that. Next turn we can cast a Vivisector. Or rather a Beast Caller and a Bone Splinters if we feel like we need to. Yeah, we're not going to block, so we won't. If my opponent has nothing, that's fine with me. Phyrexian Espionage. Okay. Well, so... I think we're supposed to just attack and play out the Bog Badger. Then next turn we can get the immediate value off the Beast Caller. Yep, just play a bigger creature. Now we're ahead on board with 2 removal spells in hand. And our opponent does have a lot of cards, but I'm hoping we can leverage our cards to kind of beat them down some. Yeah, no blocks, because I can't, so I won't. What do they have? A 4th land, and 4 colors of mana, and a Micromancer, which is going to go get them a... Don't know yet. We'll find out though, I'm sure. Someday. A Urborg Repossession. That's a pretty strong card, isn't it? Well, I don't think we can afford to play around it. We have our own anyway, so... We're just gonna attack both, see what my opponent has to say about it. Play out the Beast Caller. Play out the Vivisector. Have 3 great cards in my hand. If my opponent uses removal on the Beast Caller, we get value, and then I can get back both of those creatures. And don't get me wrong, things are still rough for me. It's not like we have infinite time. They have all 4 colors of mana, card advantage, and a great onboard creature. But we do have the advantage of being in the lead. Oh, well, that's certainly a good card. So it does cost black mana, so they can only pump it once. Yeah, I think we do it. Or we'll just go to combat here and see what they have to say about it. What you got, Oppo? So they do have something. It could just be that. Let's see how... Sure. Alright, so... We'll try this now, see what happens. It does work. That's good for me. Alright, end turn. We'd like to draw a 5th land. So the way that the auto-tapper tapped them out, I felt like we had a much higher chance of that working out in my favor. Well, that's pretty unfortunate, because now they get back a fucking Micromancer of all things. Jesus, that's pretty great value, I guess. And they get a fucking removal spell off of it? Jesus. Okay, well, I mean, sometimes your opponent just has a lot of stuff going on. Yikes. Well, okay. So the worst blocks that they can give me are block the Vivisector and not the Splatter Goblin. If I attack with all three of those. If we just play this out, they're just going to Rona's Vortex it on their turn. So we also have an Urborg Repossession. Gross. We have a Bog Badger in the graveyard. I think we're supposed to Bone Splinters here. So if we attack here, this block. If we attack here, they can block with the Micromancer or the Bortuk. Bortuk's bad for me. It's also bad for me. Yeah, whatever. Do we just resign our Namada to getting blasted away? Or do we kill something with this? Guess we kill something with this, huh? I don't think any of those are the right answers, so we're just gonna pass. Missing on a 5th land was pretty miserable for me. Now if they want to Rona's Vortex this, that's okay with me. Of course they have a way to buy the Micromancer back again with either the Repossession or the Bortuk. But I have to imagine they don't have like 5 different ways to use it. Or maybe they do, who knows. Gotten a pretty great start as far as mana goes. We're still working on getting our second black source. Some people just have all the luck. Getting creatures in the graveyard would have been good for the Writhing Necromass, but I don't think we win the game by just throwing our creatures into theirs to make one of mine cheaper. Well, Extinguish the Light's not even a castable spell, so unfortunately we're in the same exact situation we were last turn, where we can't do anything at all. Alright, they're going to Rona's Vortex now, which is good. That being gone is bad for me, but it's not completely game-breaking. What I'd love for them to do is tap out and for me to draw a second black source. Or they can play a 4/4 beater onto my board of do-nothings and attack me for 9 damage. Yeah, I guess that'll do as well. Next they'll be attacking me for about 1 billion damage. We draw an uncastable. That's going to be it for me. I'm not really interested in playing the game anymore. Yeah, not hitting the 5th land was kind of the nail in the coffin there. Even if we had had another forest, there might have been a way for us to get through this, but just not into it. Suddenly we're on the cusp of defeat again, but we're gonna keep going. We feel good, the deck looks good, we just have to get there. We have the mana, but we don't have anything to do with it. Okay, this is basically the same except we're down a card. Understandable. Well, we're going to put the combat trick on the bottom, keep the removal, and see if we can leverage this to some kind of victory. Guess we should have bottomed the land, huh? Okay. Understandable. Great. Yep. Okay, yeah, I see how it is. This is exactly the kind of thing I was hoping to avoid, and yet it is exactly what's going to happen. Next turn is going to be a land, or something else that doesn't do anything for me. My opponent will have set up a good on-board position that they can back up with removal spells, and we will be out of the game. Yikes. Okay, well that's a fine card, but the problem is we can't cast it here. We have to pass and try and leverage it the turn that we play it. Can we even afford to take 6 here, though? Guess we kind of have to, don't we? I could also have mass pump, but I don't think I can do anything about that. Yeah, go ahead. Jesus Christ, okay. Fair enough. Is this a combat trick, really? Okay. We gained some life in that exchange. Alright, now we have to play this, and pass turn. Now, Tail Swipe does not do much for me. Cut Down is what I'm probably going to be using. Pretty gross. Okay, maybe I should have used Tail Swipe. Because now they're going to use a combat trick and my removal spell does nothing. Unfortunate. Okay, well, I mean, we get a 1-1 out of it. So maybe we're not completely dead. Tired of like every third opponent having Leyline Binding. You'd think it'd be so much less common than it is. But unfortunately, I just always seem to be running into it. Just like the Mythic Hydra, I'm seeing that thing all the time. Okay, we'll cast this. Someday we'll cast it. Not today, I guess, because my opponent has stuff to do. Sure, I guess that just won't get cast. Fair enough. Yikes. Well, this has been a bit of a disaster, hasn't it? We go to 6 here, and if we draw a land, we're basically just dead on board. Good game. Oh well. That went from pretty good to pretty bad pretty quickly. But unfortunately, that's just the way that Limited works sometimes. I hope that you've enjoyed this draft. I don't really feel like I did any major misplays there. Just sometimes you get unlucky. If you disagree with me and you see some ways that I could have won some of those games, I implore you to leave a comment telling me how. Cool. If you would like to like, share, subscribe, or otherwise engage with the video by commenting, I would love that. You've been watching Robot Rallis. Have yourself a wonderful night.